Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you for attending a Home Express webinar. Today we're going to be going over some XConnect portal navigation and some enhancements. So these are all really good things that we have done with our technology that we are so excited to share with all of you. So obviously, thank you again for your participation and attending our webinars. We are glad that you're taking the time to come and spend some time with us and learn about our products and our technology that we have for you. So some of the things that we'll be discussing today, just like I mentioned, is going to be with regards to our XConnect portal. Not only are we going to be sharing how to use our portal, but also some of the enhancements that we have made to the portal. Again, our motto is always speed, ease, and convenience. And we want to demonstrate these things not only with our customer service, but also with the technology that we have available as well. Our presenters, myself, I'm Albert Martinez, and I'm the corporate trainer here at Home Express Mortgage. We have Mr. David Greider, who is our Senior Vice President of Wholesale Lending, as well as Carlene Tillman, who is our special guest, and she's one of our top area sales managers out of the Tampa office. So with that, I'd like to hand it off to Mr. Greider.
Hey, well, thank you, Albert. Thanks for attending today. Man, what a day. I was looking at the bond market yesterday and then today, so I get it if you're busy and looking at locks and that stuff. I think this is a good sign for, sometimes bad news is good news for our industry. So I'm going to kind of set this up because I've been doing non-QM really since it started. So I started non-QM in 2015 and introducing this product and this way this type of product to our broker partners was a little different. It's like, okay, hey, we go through the rules of Dodd-Frank, how bank statements look, how ATR works, and then all these programs enhance. But one of the things I've always had when I first started in 2015, 16, 17 was that submission process. And the submission process I seen across the board was, hey, I'm going to send these PDFs to the AE via email, and then the AE would then submit it to the company, and then the company would disclose it for me. And I had a lot of broker partners, hey, why can't I submit it? Why can't I do my own disclosures just like we do with other loan products, right? And so our 2024 initiative is to make that a reality. So we're kind of there. If those brokers that kind of are with us and use the portal today have really liked the enhancements so far in 2024, but we have more coming. And that's why we want to kind of go through this update and show you one that's coming out next week. And then right behind that is doing your own disclosures. And as you go through this webinar with us, keep in mind that you don't have to be approved with us to use our portal. Now, submissions, we can work on that. Might will do that, but you can use everything up there while we're getting you approved with us. And it typically takes 24 to 48 hours to get approved with us if you're a broker sending that in. So very quick, you're able to utilize a lot of what we have, including the income desk, the pricing, all that. So just let me know at the end. And if you have any questions, even if it's not on the portal, please put them in the chat. If it's on programs, the industry of non-QM, anything you have, or on Home Express, I will answer those at the end. But with that, let's just go through the technology that we have with XNet Portal and how we kind of designed this to help you do more business with us and take the loan off the street because we have minimum submission requirements, so the disclosures go out right away, and protect you from any breaches, or at least get that probability down since you're uploading most of the documents or all of them at this time, that you don't have to worry about some emails going back and forth with non-public information. So there's lots of things we do to try to really protect you on this. So with that, Carlene, I'll hand it over to you and kind of go through how you submit a loan, how to use our portal, and some of the things out there that are coming.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, David. Thanks for the introduction. And I am going to, again, just a quick reminder, this is a test environment, so it may, if keep that in mind because we're using for non-proprietary information or information from that we don't want to share publicly. So in the test environment, let me just share my screen here. We're going to start with really a bird's eye overview of accessing the portal and the life of a loan as it goes through our XConnect broker portal from the broker side, but we have the same visibility as account executives on our end to be able to assist you throughout. So obviously the first step in getting into the portal is signing into that. You're going to get user credentials assigned to you by your account executive. And once you reset your password for the first time, again, this is the test environment, it is very simple just to log right in from there. You may have an MFA authentication number sent to you if you change browsers, for example. But once you log in, you can see here that we have the overview of the main home screen of the portal. And I'm just going to touch on really quickly here along the top. We're going to go through mainly these three columns here, kind of how you would expect, you know, a loan starting with a scenario and pricing, registering. We're going to share a little bit about how you would do an income review. Our income desk can give you a monthly income breakdown within 24 hours or less. So you can do that upfront anytime. And then the submitted loan. But before I jump into this part, I just want to highlight a couple areas up here at the top. So one of the new enhancements and features we're going to talk about later on is the ability to input your fees as well as your service providers. So if you have entities that you work with regularly, you can put them in there in advance or you can add them on the fly. We also have a resource center. Let me just click over really quickly to the real environment because just to give you an idea of some of the documents here that you would see you may need for a specific loan, like a self-employment questionnaire, which we're gonna use that today for the income review. But those features are and items are there for you to use as tools as well. So don't forget to check that out.
Hey,
But
Carlene, we had a
yes,
guest say that they're hard to hear you, even though I
oh,
can hear you.
uh-oh.
So if you could speak up just a little bit, I think that'd be great.
Yes, absolutely. Then
That's
let me
better.
know. I think I can turn up the volume too if I need to.
That's perfect. Thank
That's
you.
better? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you. All right. So the first thing you do, you get a scenario. You want to get an idea about what the pricing would be from your new client, new borrower, and you would click here on the pricing tool. Now, when this comes up, I'm just gonna show a little bit of some of the fields here by clicking on the pricing tool. But a best practice is to always save your scenarios. By saving the scenario, save the search, I should say in this case, down here at the bottom left, that's going to ensure that you save the details that you've input for this pricing scenario, but it's going to be housed and you can find it anytime in the scenario column on that main page. But also your account executive can see it when you do that. And that way, if for whatever reason you don't get results or have questions on the pricing, they can see it and walk through it with you simultaneously. So as you can see here, there are required fields to be able to generate pricing from this section. But I'm going to jump right to an example that I already pre-input and I saved the search of it. So we can go into our pipeline and then we'll highlight the fields that we selected for that pricing scenario. Here we are in the scenarios and we're going to go here to Cam Newton and Jerry Rice. They are going to buy a second home together in Tampa Bay. So in this scenario, we've already input the pricing and we saved it. So we can come back here and access those details. And then just going to go quickly through the required fields. Obviously, the name of the scenario, what the borrower's name, whatever you want to name that to save so that you'll remember who they are. The middle credit score of the highest wage earner. In this case, we are doing a bank statement loan, so they have to be self-employed, whether 2 years or 4 years or one, we would want to indicate that here. The second section here is just a little bit about the loan type, conventional, 30 years, fixed. We have a purchase. This is going to be a consumer purpose loan since it's a second home. And then the purchase price and the desired LTV here. This section is for the income. So we may not know what the income is yet because we're gonna do an income desk calculation here with as one of our services that we offer for our broker partners. But we're gonna make sure we have 12 months there. And in this case, I just sometimes throw in a monthly amount. We can update that at any time. And then we have the property type. So here's our second home over in Tampa, Florida, and it's single family residence. And then this last column over to the far right here is for the, a lot of the times I'll say just, I do initially or recommend to run pricing with borrower paid compensation. You can toggle and look at lender paid comp and how that might look with the pricing, but borrower paid comp is going to give you the best available rates. And then you can kind of play around with that anytime thereafter. So we have those pieces, right? Everything's filled in. We're going to search. And then this is where it's going to give you the results or not results, the different options and the programs available. We can't possibly expect everyone to know all of that, but this is where your account executive is going to be able to come in and give you a little bit more information about the program, answer questions, help you structure. But we know we have all these eligible results um, as the information we put in for the scenario pricing. So in here, you can go down anywhere you see there is an arrow here. You can click it and it's going to open up the fields. Really, in this case, it's just giving us two different programs, but I'm going to go ahead and just select the rate here for this. I like that rate. This pops up, which you can click in to get additional detail on the LLPAs and the adjustments to the pricing. But ultimately, it's going to tell us what we want to know as far as the rate, where we are today, and you get back to your borrower and share that information. So if you want then to go back to the screen, you go to the top here into search fields. Let's say you wanted to change it around and instead look at lender paid comp as well. You can just click that top search field button. It will take you back here to the main screen. And of course, we know already that we have this saved. You can save it every time, but it's not required. So we have the pricing, we have our scenario. They found a house, let's just say, or they're about to go look for a house. Want to make sure they qualify for their income. Again, the scenario for our purposes, Cam Newton and Jerry Rice, they're right here. Let's go ahead and register the loan, because when we register it, that's what's going to allow us to do the income review. We're going to walk through that really quickly. There's a couple ways you can do that. I always like to just select register a loan from here. And then what this does is it gives us the option to just pick the pricing scenario that we already have saved. And we're going to go grab Newton and Rice here. And then it will just have you re-enter the name of the borrower. And then we want to confirm we are looking to do a bank statement loan, business bank statements for 12 months. And let's just say at this point, they haven't found the property yet. So you can hit to be determined. And we're going to figure out how much income they need and if they qualify with their other debts. This part is actually going to be, as the broker, it's going to be pre-populated because it's going to recognize you as your broker ID. And then you would select the loan officer. And if you had a processor already that you partner with, you can also include them here as well. And then you register. So this part is then going to move, well, you can find this loan at this point under the registration section of the pipeline view that we were looking at in the beginning. One of the first things, you do not have to do this part in any normal instances. If you just want to go and get the income review done, you would go right to here. But for demonstration purposes, I just want to show quickly how the goal at this screen is to have all of these green. So we may not be ready to submit the loan yet, but when you are, there is a section over here to the far right is upload the 3.4 MISMO file. So that's going to pop up there, give us the option to pull in our XML export from your LOS, your application. And then when I hit OK there, in that instance, you probably already have the property. And in this case, it pulled from our example, so it changed some of the data. But ideally, your XML is going to have all that ready to go once you're ready to move forward in the process. The example I wanted to share is that you see we want all greens here. We have an X. Something is amiss with the declarations, and it's not going to let us pass if we don't figure out what happened there. So if I click on that, it's going to take us and, uh-oh, we forgot to put the ethnicity. So let me just make sure we get that in there quickly. Now we've got a green, and I will update the URL to save that information. All right, so now we have all greens, which is ideal. Again, you don't have to do that if you're just coming in to register a file to figure out what the income is and to get the income in for review. But for purposes and just kind of going in with the flow, wanted to show that that's what happened with the X amount. Similarly with the pricing. So when we click here, it's going to show red because maybe it was a week or a month ago that you did the initial pricing for them. And then like Ryder was saying, with the market, the way it is, rates have gone down. So just if you click on this, you have to do this again before you submit the file. Again, for our purposes here today, you don't have to for income review, but I want to go ahead and walk through the example because it's going to ask us to confirm, yes, we're still doing business bank statements. And make sure, well, I know we did second home, this updated from our XML, but just to give us some pricing and to get that to turn green. I don't know. This is we'll go back to 80%. So it gives us some results. All right. So that's good enough for us to be able to get some pricing. And again, confirming what the rate is. It could have changed since you initially looked at it and discussed with the borrower. So you run that again. And here we did select a CoreX program before. I can see this is the par rate today. So I'm going to select that. But the key is if you want that to turn green, you're going to go have all the way over here to the right and hit export pricing. Okay. Once you do that, this will turn green for the pricing and loan terms as well. And there it is. And again, anytime if you leave this registration section and come back, it will turn red again because it just wants you to basically check and see where the rates are at that given day. So once that's done, again, the income review, this is where you can upload the bank statement information, and our income desk team will have a monthly income breakdown back within 24 hours or less. They're pretty fast. And in order to make sure the best ways to do this, I've gotten in situations where, or brokers where you get all of the bank statements sent to you in one PDF. To be prepared, make sure you separate those out, put the months for each month that you have 12, and you know what your most recent month is. And I'll show you why that's really important here in a second. So the type of account, we have a business account, and then we're the name of the bank, the last four of the account number, and then the name of the LLC or on whatever the name is on the bank statement. In this case, we are using business statements. And then this is the part that's very important. So if you did that upfront preparation and organize those bank statements, and you see the most recent month you have is, let's say in this example, June. They haven't sent us July yet. If you select the wrong date here, the options to stack the bank statements are going to be in reverse order, and then you may be off as far as the months. So be sure you put the most recent month that you see in your 12 months in this section. And then there is a self-employment questionnaire that you can get out of the Resource Center. And ideally, you want to have the borrowers complete that anyway, and upload it. But you also want to tell a little bit about the business and business operations. In this case, they're 50-50 owners. They're purchasing a second home. They have no full-time employees or hold any inventory or have rent. So we're thinking it could be an estimated 15% expense factor so that we have that properly documented when we get the results back. And then we hit create account. And then this is the fun part. This then shows the bank statements in the reverse order, as I mentioned, with the newest one first, the self-employment questionnaire. So we're going to go ahead and upload that here. And then whether you select upload and pull from area of your desktop or drag and drop, you can do either or. Let me drop these in here really quickly because I want to share exactly what happens after you put your bank statements in here. And again, if you have these in order up front, it's just going to make your life so much easier. It's pretty quick. Almost there. Let me see if I'm faster if I drag and drop it. Nope. All right. One more, a few more. Whoop, that's not supposed to happen. It's not better for me to drag and drop. So I hit the upload button. All right. Three more. I want to walk through this and share because there are a couple of additional questions that come up at the end and options available to you that I want to share as well. And then what it would look like while the bank statement or income review is pending. So now we have all the statements in here. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit review at the bottom right. And you're going to have two questions pop up. Do we want to submit this account for review? Yes, we do. And would we like to submit another account? So if they want to look at personal statements as well and compare those or have another stream of income, then you'd hit yes and do the same thing for that other account so we could compare them all. But in this case, we don't need that. We're just going to use this one set. And then we know got everything in here. We're ready to go. You can confirm that by showing here the status is pending. So at that point, our income desk review team, you're going to still see it's red here, is going to stack those bank statements, do a breakdown, put it in a nice spreadsheet, and we'll get that update in 24 hours or less. So there's nothing else you need to do. What I like to say is, hey, you could leave, don't even worry about it. You can jump out of it, go price another loan, whatever you need to do, go about getting a loan CTC'd. And when you come back, let's see, I just wanted to show you an example of clicking out of the screen and how easy it is to go back and see in this test environment. We'll see that the income review is going to be green, so we can proceed. So here we go back to the pipeline. I will then go to registrations. And this is the registration loan that we just uploaded the bank statements, the income review for. Now, there you see, it's been completed. Now we have a green. So at that point, your account executive will get a breakdown of that income, and they'll call and go over it with you. If there are any questions, large deposits, transfers that you need to clarify, that's a great time to review that and get a better understanding of the business operations. But once that's done, then you can go at this point, we have all greens all the way down. So we can go to the next step. And this would be, they found the house, they have their contract, they're ready to go. And we're going to upload the minimum documents that are required to get this file into our disclosures, initial disclosures, and right to underwriting for conditional underwriting approval. This top section here, this is for the account executive. If there is an exception on the file that you've discussed, we'll put that there. But these items under required documents are the minimum needed to submit this loan for this particular instance. We already have the bank statements here. We already have our breakdown because we did that in advance. So here are the other pieces that are required. We also uploaded the self-employment questionnaire in the income review, so it's there and satisfied. And then we're going to need our credit reports. So let's get those over here for Cam Newton and Jerry Rice. All right. And then, of course, the purchase contract. So we're going to go ahead and just add that there. Now, previously, we had sections here for your fees. We're going to show some of that here in the next steps as far as our future enhancements soon to be rolled out. But right now, we've got all the minimum documents needed to submit this file. If you have an optional or additional documentation for the file, if it was a full file from another lender, for example, that they would go over here. But honestly, this is all that's needed, and everything else will be conditioned for in our conditional approval. So that is the document upload. We're almost there, and we only have a few more pieces before this loan is fully ready to submit into our process. So I'm going to click on the next step here. Something is, I've got my screen blocking me on the other side. Here we go. All right. So for the settlement providers, this is an enhancement again that should be rolling out soon. You may have used the tools to add settlement providers or entities that you work with regularly here, and that would come into play in this screen. So we're going to select the title company for this particular loan. And I'm just going to select the one that's already listed here, a preferred or a partner that we use often, NGP Law and Title. And then you also have, depending on the area of the country that you're in, closing agent or settlement company and or escrow company. And you'd select those if they were different. I'm just going to, in this instance, put the same as title company. If they are an affiliate, obviously, of yours, you would want to select that as well here. But for our purposes, I'm just going to do the same. And then appraisal. So if you have an AMC that you work with regularly, again, these are the entities. If they're an affiliate, mark that accordingly. But once you have that information, you see we have a green check mark. So I'm going to just save it, make sure that's all correct. Everything looks good. And then the next and final screen before we get to submit. And that would be the fees. Obviously, fees are very important for compliance reasons from title. At this point, you have hopefully your pre-CD and your fees to disclose from the title company and MGP Law in this instance. So we're going to input those here along with your broker origination and processing and all those very important fees to ensure everybody gets paid accurately. And it's almost there. I can feel it.
It's a test environment, Carlene. That's
Yeah.
what happens, right? So
Yeah.
it's way quicker on your end as you're doing this than the test
Absolutely.
environment,
Yes.
right? So
Very much so. Yeah. Okay, here we go in the fees. So it takes us to this screen. At the top, if you had, lender paid comp or anything like that, that would have been indicated in the price, or it would be applicable there. In a purchase, especially, it's very important, the closing date. But in any case, the estimated closing date, I'm going to put our contract expiration date at the end of the month. And then we're going to go down and just kind of add in our fees. I'm going to just run through this quickly. I know many of you, you've done this with a lot of partners or through loan processes already today in different environments. But the first section here is going to be mainly origination fees or for your brokerage shop and potentially, and our fees, of course, that are pre-populated. For this instance, I'm just going to put in a broker fee of 2.5%. And you see it's going to populate over here to the right. Then it's going to have our underwriting fees, et cetera. Moving down to the second section here, these are services you can shop for. We know already from the top that you had listed Nationwide Appraisal Network as your AMC. Want to just quickly put in that appraisal fee there. Your credit report fee, if you, I'm just going to put, you'd want to put the vendor as well for your credit bureaus. I'll put Zactus. And then we'll say $75 there. If you had a second appraisal in a case where the loan amount was above a certain amount, for example, you would add that as well, of course. And then I am going to keep moving down here to the next section. This is where you would pull your fees, obviously, from the pre-CD that you have from your title agent or escrow company. And I'm just going to put some fees in here for our purposes. But as you can see, they're being read or what needs to be applied in here. Oops. Going all the way down, if you had a survey fee, additional fees for wire and all of that, you'd fill those in accordingly. And then if you get down to this final screen, I had skipped over something earlier, I know. Oh, the processing fee. So I'd skipped over the processing fee up here because if you do have a processing fee in-house, you would add it there. But if you had a third-party processing fee, it would be further down here. And we would require an invoice for that. And, of course, again, if they're an affiliate.
It will be in section B,
Oh,
Carlene.
okay.
Just there it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Thank you, Alberto. So if you had a third party processing fee here, you would add it. And if, again, that was an affiliate, you have the option to select that here in this column. And then whatever that fee is, you'd put it there. All right. Now we've got them all. And the rest of our title fees, the recording fee, I'm just going to add here and do the same amount. All right. Some of these other areas are going to pre-populate for you based on the closing date that you listed at the very top. So that's going to put the prepaids and the daily interest there based on all of that information up top. And then if you know, obviously, the monthly amount of your homeowners, flood property taxes here, and the appropriate months that will be collected for the escrow account based on the time of the year for that portion. And I'll just add one more here. I think that is everything. So if we've got everything, all the minimum requirements, we're just going to click finalize fee. This is very important because we want to make sure again that there's no cures or anything like that, and everything's compliant, and we have your broker fee and processing and credit all correct. So you're going to hit these attestations here and confirm that all that looks good, and then attest. All right, and now all our fees are there. And once we've done that, this is ideally what we always want to see is greens all the way down on the left side. So now that we have that, a lot of you were going to go through the process, do all the things that we shared today, communicate with your account executive on the scenario, on structuring the loan, any kind of questions you have. And then in the end here, once all of this is uploaded and the file is ready to be submitted, either you will have the ability to submit it yourself. We call that an express broker. You go right through. Or if not, it will alert your account executive so they can come in and kind of review the file with you, and then do what's very important as a final note is the borrower's synopsis, or what I like to say is the story of the loan. What about the loan you want to highlight or point out? Be, very direct and straightforward. We don't want to guess. We'd rather know upfront in any case. So anything about the loan that you feel is worthy of mentioning, any kind of caveats or things you want to call out here. And I'm just going to put some examples for what that story is. Make it a good story. And then once you have that in there, the application date, this is going to be, I'm sorry, I did this first. This is going to be when the file comes to Home Express for our disclosures. Since we're going to be submitting the file, I'm just going to select the current date. And then once that's done, you would submit loan, or your account executive would review all of that with you and submit it for you at that point. Okay. And then a final thing I want to share with you after all that's done, and again, starting from the scenarios and going to the registration, we have a loan that is submitted. It's going to be in your submitted pipeline. Before I show that really quickly, all of our loans are submitted and they're floating. The rates are floating. You can see at the top here that there's no lock date. Whenever you decide to lock that, you can get in here and lock it right away, right through the portal, and then you'll have the lock expiration date populate up here. Lastly, you can see that, oh, there it is. Now that is no longer that particular scenario has moved from registrations to your submitted loans. This is where you would go in once it's underwritten and click on and clear the conditions, get to CTC, closing and funding, which is absolutely all of our goals by clearing those out. And that's kind of a quick overview on the life of the loan as it relates to our XConnect broker portal.
Excellent. Thank you, Carlene. I think we had a few in the chat box here, if I remember that, Albert, as we kind of look at this. I think as far as speed goes, once you have it down, it goes pretty quick on submission. So this is kind of a lengthy, hey, let's go through everything real quick. And once you get your service providers in there on the fees, it's going to come in there and make it a lot faster for you. Kind of what you're doing with some other lenders that you're working with right now, right? So the whole goal is to make it easier for you. Instead of you sending in a PDF and just put it right on there versus that on the fees go, you to be able to have control. And again, I'm glad Carlene went over when you can lock right away, but you kind of keep it. If you don't lock it, it's going to be floating until you decide. So that's your function to do, is to lock it. Kind of, you're the loan officer dealing with the borrower, so you want that to be your option on that. So we'll see how rates go. So I'm kind of really kind of looking at today, kind of excited to kind of see on the rate side, but there's also sometimes some negatives on the economy that when this happens. So I'm also sensitive to that. So Albert, let's see what kind of questions we have, and maybe you or me can answer them, since it has to do mainly with technology.
Yes, sir. So it looks like in the chat we have a couple of commentaries. We have one from Deidre. She's saying, if using personal bank statements as business, make sure the account type reflects that. Otherwise, income calculation worksheet will come back incorrect, and you cannot upload the SEQ form.
That's a good point, because I always do. If you looked at some of my income or bank statement webinars, a lot of business owners don't have a separate business account, so to speak, with the name of the business. They just float all their business revenue through the personal, and with that is, so their personal account is really their business. So you need to put the business on there, even though it's technically at the bank a personal account. For underwriting purposes, since they use it for their business, it's a business account.
Excellent. The next, this was actually a question also from Deidre. She's saying, are they able to import fees from Smart Fees? So
No,
no,
I'll let you do
no.
that right now. But it's no, we're looking at enhancements, so we're trying to say, okay, what's the first? So we're tired of, we want to make it easy for you. You're going to have to get that. Everybody, probably a loan officer, has a download function from whatever title company or settlement service provider. They grab that and then, okay, great, here's my transaction. They set it over. You can just inputting that. right? So you just input it right on there. That's the goal versus, hey, grab down a PDF, send it to someone else, they're putting it on there, whatever setup is. So you have control and you kind of see it before it gets disclosed. And then the next enhancement is actually you being able to disclose. So that's where it's coming down as we're going forward in 2024.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Grider. The next question comes from Mark Wilson. It says, "Is there an approved AMC list to order appraisals?"
Yes, it's on our website. I think it's even on our resource center where you can pick a list of it where it's like, I don't know, 10, 12 AMCs. I think that's kind of where we're at, where you can actually go and order directly for there, has a name on it, that kind of stuff. So you still have control what AMC, but we have a lot of them on there that are preferred.
Awesome. Thank you. The next question is from Michelle, and it says, "Is this the same software for standalone seconds?"
This software is proprietary, so it's ours, but also connected to Lender Price. So we're actually on Lender Price. That's the pricing engine we use, but it's more tailored, custom for Home Express. So right now we don't have standalone seconds. We just do first mortgages, non-QM and some agency and government loans. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if I can clarify that.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Mr. Grider. And I think Mel just wrote us, but as a side note, we will allow any AMC the broker chooses.
That is correct. So we
That's
have a
correct.
preferred list, but you still can go and order through your AMC. So if you have something that's not on a list, you're still able to do that. That is correct.
Yeah,
Good,
Mark.
good
So,
tip.
go ahead. Yeah, Mark. So to answer your question, yeah, I mean there is a preferred list, right? But the broker can go in into the settlement provider section and add whatever AMC
Right.
it's in their region or someone
I'm
maybe they
gonna
have a
tell
relationship
you,
with, right?
here's the advantages of using a preferred. So try to do that. So the advantage is we get it right away, plus the XML
True.
file. So it saves you from uploading that, and we'll have it right away for you. And it already starts like our CU score and all that kind of stuff. So it could save you a day or two on appraisal review, just to let you know. So there's advantages to use a preferred AMC.
Excellent, thank you. And we did want to point out that obviously this webinar is recorded and it will be sent over to everyone who has attended. But in addition to that, in our resource center, we also have a list we have our YouTube channel, and there are links to every single one, every single video with, in essence, with everything that Carlene has covered. Now it's broken up into different sections. That way, our broker partners, if they want to look at something specific that they may want to get a refresher on. Like, for example, how do I complete this fee input screen, right? They're able to watch a video through YouTube. We know that adult learning is a little different and everyone likes to learn a little differently, right? Some people like to read the instruction manual. Other people, like myself, I'd rather go watch a YouTube video and teach myself how to do it, right? So it's there for you. In addition to that, in our resource center, we do have a guide which basically walks you through every single step with images that correspond to each specific section. So you can learn from different ways. You can either watch the video, or your account executive is able to send you or refer you over to the resource center so that you can access also the broker user guide. We do have here, and to make it easier for the broker, if we're helping them with the fallout, we will not require the appraisal to be transferred as long as we can get the air cert, XML, and invoice. So she's just adding additional commentary.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. We try to make it easy for you. So we're after, what is non-QM, what is Home Express known for us, right? We're going to help you try to close more loans, right, and try to make it as easy as possible. And so with our appraisals, right, that's one of them. What we're showing today is the technology piece to try to make it easier for you. So I want to make sure that, we're kind of doing that. So any scenario you have, I mean, let us know what you have. You think it's a loan here, that's a good borrower. I mean, tell us what it is, right? Call your AE up, call me up, and we'll help you get that loan, maybe structured right, see how it can get done. So we're here to help you close more loans.
Yeah, and I think to point something that you mentioned earlier, Mr. Ryder, which was if they're not an approved broker yet, but they want to test out our technology, use our portal, and even go as far as having the income calculation performed, their account executive is able to sign them up as a prospect broker and be able to give them access to the portal. I don't know if maybe you want to speak up a little bit more on that.
No, it's just what you kind of said there. So we're not a, exclusivist of that. Again, the submission process, because LPC might be different, that we have to go through that process. But you can use our portal, if you're not approved yet, so hey, get that process going. By the way, the broker approval process is fast and easy. But at the same time, you might have a borrower. Hey, I got someone that's looking to purchase. I need to get the bank statement. So I got to know which check your pricing out is. Yeah, we're going to give you access to that. So just reach out to your account executive, myself, Albert here, and we'll connect you with the right person to get you that broker ID codes, so you're able to price and kind of upload that loan into the registration.
Yeah, definitely. We truly live our motto, right? Speed, ease, and convenience, right? We try to make things
Yeah.
as simple as we can for our broker partners. And Deidre just added some additional commentary. She said the preferred list equals FHA and Freddie Mac. So
That is correct. So agency and government loans a little bit different on the AMC. Got to, so good tip. And your AE is going to know this. They're highly trained. They know how to structure loans and how to get the system through your loan through our system with ease, right? Pretty much. And you're able to talk to people. We're transparent with our portal, like you got Carly showed. Here's your pipeline. You see the conditions. You can really go through that and talk to us on that deal to get that deal closed.
excellent, thank you. I don't see any more questions in the chat, Mr. Grider. So I think with that, maybe we want to share some final words and sign off.
Wow. I mean, interesting day. I'm just watching this bond market, stocks going down and that. And so I'm kind of excited to see, what it's going to do for the housing market. Yeah. And again, I appreciate everybody on here. This has been an interesting 2 years, right? Going through. Even though given all said that, non-QM has really taken off. And I think that's one. So if you're kind of just getting into it or new that, please understand this is a growing market. This will be our best volume year ever in non-QM, even though the mortgage market kind of shrank down. And as soon as rates come back, every loan that you do today is going to be another loan in 18 months, right? I really feel that, even though we kind of said that, a year ago, we had real estate agents say, 2 years ago, came with the phrase, what if date the rate, marry the house? I go, man, that was a long dating period, right? That's all I looked at. But I get it. But I do see where, the 10 years coming down. I think there's some things here where we see in 2025 is going to be a better rate year. So hopefully the affordability of housing kind of goes in the right direction. So thank you guys so much for being on here. Again, we're just recording this out there. Feel free to reach me. I don't know if Albert, you can put my contact information up here as we go. But please, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I do get a lot of emails we're talking about either, but I will get back to everybody every day. So I appreciate you being on here and everything you do. We wouldn't be a wholesale lender without our partners. So thank you guys very much for trusting us with your transaction.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you at our next webinar.